The Bruins advance. Sabres begin looking towards next year. Good evening. Topping tonight's Eyewitness News nightcast, the Sabres bow out in Boston. Tough way to end the season, especially after the playoffs opened on such a positive note this year. Rick AZAR joins us now with a quick look at what happened in Boston tonight. Rick?
Thanks very much, Keith. The season for the Sabres came to a very disappointing close tonight in Boston when, with a score 3-1 in the third period, the Sabres coming on a bit, Craig Janney settled the issue with the score, which came at 14-32. Mark Cooper was at the game and reports live now from Boston Garden. Mark?
Thanks a lot, Rick. But I tell you, the turning point in this game came long before that goal. It was midway through the second period. And with me now is Bob Sweeney. We're going to talk a little bit about this. Buffalo on the power play in the second period. You guys score the shorthanded goal. Wesley passing out to Randy Burridge. And that just gave you guys the whole momentum for the game.
Yeah, definitely. I was in the box at the time. And, I seen Randy breaking. And I was hoping that Glenn would throw it up to him. Unfortunately for us, he made a great pass to Randy. And Randy finished it off with a nice shot.
I know for Sabres fans, the series looked so positive for Sabres fans after that first game. You were telling me just before we went on, though, that the Bruins never lost hope. You just said that's one game and it's a long series.
Yeah, we basically prepared the same way we did last time against Montreal when we lost the first game pretty bad. And we just said, hey, it's just one game. It takes 4 to win. So I think that was the key, just knowing, that we weren't out of it and just play one game at a time.
Can you handle the Canadians?
Well, last year, they didn't give us a chance, and after we lost the first one, beat them 4 straight. So this year, we didn't beat them all year, same as Buffalo. So we're going in pretty confident right now, and in the playoffs, as you know, anything can happen. So.
Okay, real good. Well, Rick, as you can imagine, the Sabres locker room was rather dejected, and later on Eyewitness Sports, we're going to visit and hear what some of the players had to say. Back to you.
All right, thanks very, very much, Mark, and we'll have a complete... I'm not taking. The Sabres season came to an end tonight in Boston as the Bruins won Game 5 of the opening series of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Final score 4-1. Sabres did have several opportunities to score early in this game, but were not able to dent Andy Moog, and the first period ended without a score from either team. But the game turned the Bruins' way at 8:39 of the second when the Sabres were on the power play. Randy Burridge scored his third of the playoffs shorthanded, and the Bruins dominated for the next 5 minutes. At 11:26, Ray Newfield scored to put his club up 2-0, and that was the winner. Bruins kept the pressure on, and it paid off, with Cam Neely scoring his 5th of the series. It came at 13:04, and outside that 4-minute and 25-second stretch, the game was even. The Sabres did get a goal in the third to make it 3-1 and stir the interest of local fans. Grant Ledyard made it at 5:23, but Craig Janney got that back at 14:32 of the third, and the Bruins will now go on to the Adams Division Finals against the Montreal Canadiens.
I thought we played a pretty solid first period, and I think that we should have won the game. And just unfortunately, the second period, they got a couple good goals. And, I thought we had a lot of character. I mean, we didn't quite. At least we played hard as we could. We didn't have nothing to lose. We were down 3-1, so we just wanted to go out there and just give the best effort as we could and try to win the game.
It's frustrating from a coach not being able to come up with the units that we need to score goals. We had to start juggling from game 2 once we lost Christian Ruto, and Johnny Tucker went out of the series with his back flared up on him again. I'd like to say that we could have presented the same 20 guys and held them through the entire series with Boston, but that wasn't the case. And certainly, from our point of view, we did everything possible to try to win this series. And I feel empty right now.
Empty indeed. The Bruins beating Buffalo 4-1, the only score for the Sabres coming off the stick of Grant Ledyard. The Bruins win the series 4-1 and will play the Canadiens.
Had the momentum coming in, really takes control after that. Bobby Carpenter sets up Ray Newfield to make it 2-0. The Sabres trail 3-0 after 2 periods. Then in the third period, the Sabres do get a little breath of life here as Grant Ledyard beats Andy Moog to make it 3-1. and the Sabres had some good scoring chances after that, but then the real killer came when Craig Janney scores to make it 4-1, and that was all she wrote, as the final score was 4-1. And again, Mike DeGeorge in the Sabres locker room for some of these post-game comments.
Well, we knew that we wanted to come out here and be an aggressive hockey team. We didn't want to change our style as we started playing in Buffalo for 2 seasons ago, about being aggressive and taking the man and winning the one-on-one battles. That's something that we preach and work on every single day. Apparently, we've got to get to the next level where those one-on-one battles are a premium. And in a series like this, where first and second effort isn't enough and might get by in the regular season, but you want to go further in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you have to out-effort the other team. And first and second isn't enough. When you play Boston, you can't let up for a second.
Well, in the Patrick Division night, Philadelphia at Washington, game tied at 4 in the third. Kyle Johansson, the former Sabre, gets the goal as it deflects in.
In that type of situation where we had to win a game, we didn't.
Read my scowl. No, I'm not very happy about it. I felt we had an opportunity to win the series. I felt that we matched up well against the Bruins. I felt that if we put the kind of effort we needed into it, we had a good chance to advance.
Well, Mike, no doubt this is the day you dread.
Well, I think everybody does, realizing that we're not going to be suiting up tomorrow and dressing up for practice or whatever, or the next game. It hurts, there's no question about it.
Well, Fort Erie native Randy Burridge joins us now. Randy, just a great series for you personally, and a big goal tonight, the shorthanded one, a backbreaker for the Sabres.
Oh, yeah, anytime you get the first goal in the game, it's a big one, and, it's that much more being shorthanded.
Little time to think about it. You picked the short side?
Oh, yeah, when I was coming in, I wanted to shoot low. I know he stands up on his feet well, and I had the stick side, and I shot it right away.
And then the second goal we'll see is a power play goal. Ledger didn't really clear it down far enough, and then good work along the boards. You got it to Carpenter. He got it in front.
Oh, yeah, I was just trying to pick for Carpenter. I seen him coming in. I stepped in front of him, and he made a great play to Ray Neufeld, who put the puck in the net.
And at the end, the Sabres got chances. Napier couldn't put one in. He fired it wide. You protected your net well.
Oh, yeah, we closed down right tight around our net. They're getting a lot of chances, but, Craig Janney sealed it up with that fourth goal.
Well, best of luck against Montreal. Dan, I think it's safe to say the Sabres completely outcoached in this one. Terry O'Reilly did a great job. Ted Sator had his problems juggling the lines, and it'll be interesting to see what Gerry Meehan decides to do in the days and weeks to come.
They'll be thinking on it hard, Brian. You can bet. Thank you. Good report, partner. We'll see you tomorrow.
Here now with the aftermath, I guess.
Thanks very much, Keith. The Sabres ended their 1988-89 season with another elimination from the Stanley Cup playoffs in the first round. Never mind a better season. It comes down to a same old story for the fans. I'll have a comment on that later. Right now, here's Mark Cooper's report on last night's 4-1 eliminating loss.
The Sabres and Bruins battled to a draw in the first period, but the Buffalo power play continued to struggle, the Sabres generating no real threat on 2 attempts with the man advantage. It was during a Buffalo power play in the second period that the momentum in this game shifted. Unfortunately for the Sabres, it shifted entirely toward the Bruins. With Bob Sweeney in the box for high sticking, Boston was about finished killing the penalty when Glenn Wesley fired a pass to center ice, catching Randy Burridge in stride. Burridge beat Jacques Cloutier on the breakaway to break a scoreless deadlock.
It killed us. Those are the ones that you just cannot afford to give up, and we did it. And, at critical times, we talked about it, we went through it, the idea of playing smart and playing safe.
Less than 3 minutes later, Bobby Carpenter found Ray Neufeld alone in the slot, and he beat Cloutier low on the glove side. Ken Priestley went off for hooking, and on the ensuing power play, Craig Janney fed Neely in front. Neely jammed the puck under Cloutier to make it 3-0 Boston after 2. The Sabres ended Andy Moog's shutout bid 5.5 minutes into the third when Grant Ledyard fired a shot by him high on the stick side. But that was as close as the Sabres would get. With 5.5 minutes left, Craig Janney slammed the door with a bullet from the top of the circle, sealing a 4-1 win and driving the final nail into the Sabres' coffin.
They just seemed to get the goal that they needed, and so maybe all the games seemed to be pretty even. But they I guess maybe that Boston Bruin mystique, I don't know. There's no excuses for it. They got the goal to win all the time. We didn't. That was the bottom line.
The Sabres Bruins playoff legacy continues. 4 times they have met in postseason play, and 4 times the Bruins have prevailed. In Boston, Mark Cooper, Eyewitness Sports.
Sabres defenseman Doug Bodger has been chosen to play for Team Canada in the upcoming World Championships in Stockholm, Sweden. Bodger had 8 goals, 44 assists in 71 games this past season. Clint Malarchuk and Pierre Turgeon had been on the preliminary list to be on the team, but because of time limitations, Team Canada officials chose a couple of Hartford players instead. There's still a chance a few Sabres will be chosen to play for Team USA in the games, which begin on April 15th.
If you were Ted Sator, would you be worried about your job today?
Well, I would not be building a new $331,000 house in Hamburg. And Ted isn't. Don't get me
I was
wrong.
going to say,
is he going to be fired? That's a definite maybe. No, but we don't have the answer yet, but it certainly is a possibility. You know, I honestly thought that the Sabres were a better team than the Bruins. How wrong I was. After winning big in that first game, the Sabres were outplayed, outsmarted, outcoached, and they are out of the playoffs early again, the 4th time in a row. Brian looks at the series that went very sour.
Time's up. The game is over.
The Sabres are out, Boston moves on, and the fans are looking down the road. On the way into this series, Buffalo looked to have the right pieces of the puzzle to beat the Bruins. But were they put in the right place by Ted Sator? Game 1, a thing of beauty, a 6-0 whitewash that even caught the Sabres by surprise. Game 2, the turning point, a 3-0 lead squandered with a shorthanded goal starting the Boston comeback. The goalie controversy still exists. Clint Malarchuk played well, and the blame for defeat in Game 2 can't be aimed on Clint. But why turn away from the goalie that had clearly frustrated the Bruins the night before? A questionable move. Ted, are you happy with the way you coached in this series?
Yeah, in terms of preparation and going through Boston's tendencies and ours, and in terms of what we had to do to win, it certainly gave it my best effort. The bottom line is the results, and did we do the job we set out to do? And the answer is no, and I'm very disappointed about that.
The tinkering with line combinations was the most disturbing development in this series. Lines that had played quite well the last quarter of the season were split up days before the playoffs, a move which made little sense. Gerry Meehan last night was obviously upset.
Read my scowl. No, I'm not very happy about it.
Having the better half of a day to reflect, Meehan's comments this afternoon.
So to lose 4 games in a row, despite how well the team played at times, is really hard to take because it's so unexpected.
The series ended last night with a relatively lackluster effort from the Sabres. Jacques Cloutier couldn't do it alone. The question now becomes, what players have played themselves out of a Sabres uniform? And did Ted Sator overcoach himself out of a job?
A sight all too familiar in the first round for the Sabres, the ceremonial handshake with Buffalo, the team, offering congratulations. The Bruins advance to the second round to take on the Canadians, while Buffalo has the offseason to wonder what went wrong against the Bruins. From Boston Garden, Brian Blessing, News 4 Sports.